Look, I'm well-informed, Jack. I keep up with the times. But it's hard to keep track of all Donald Trump's crimes. Which one's Alvin Bragg's? What's the federal case? When did Rudy's hair dribble black goo down his face? 91 charges in 4 jurisdictions. How many plea deals? How many convictions? I know, it's a lot. With all of his treasons, obstructions, election theft, foreign star malfeasance. So for every last trial and every trial date, here's a guide to help keep all of Donnie's cons straight. The first one you haven't heard much, I would reckon. The Trump Org civil fraud suit, October 2nd. False assets and net worth and business fraud lies. A.G. Letitia James knows he lies about size. Her $250 million suit made Trump hysteric. Best of all, she included Don Jr. and Eric. October 23rd, Georgia DA Fani Willis makes a drunk Rudy scream out, "She's trying to kill us!" A sprawling 41-count RICO case, racketeering and fraud, after losing the race. That's the one with the mugshot on Trump's merchandise junk, saying never surrender, which he did, like a punk. Trump commanded Georgia Secretary of State to find not all the votes, just 11,779. Because he's a moron, he did this on tape. Because state crimes can't be pardoned, he has no escape. A conspiracy case with 19 defendants, Trump lawyers and flunkies and goons and lieutenants. Mark Meadows and Rudy, at Trump's direction, tried to overinflate his sad, flaccid election. They got fake electors to cover their loss, harassed Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss, and the Kraken lady John Eastman and Jetta Ellis. They're all going to jail, and Lindsey Graham's jealous. Trump calls Fani Willis aggressive and bossy. I'm just glad it's a woman grabbing him by his posse. E. Jean Carroll's second civil suit, 11524. He attacked her, then defamed her, so she sued him once before. But he had to be reptilian and defame her once again. Last time she got $5 million. This time, she wants 10. If they make him show up, things are going to get raucous. This trial's the same date as the Iowa caucus. ACN Communications promised you could make some coin if you invested and held parties where you made your family join. Trump and his 3 kids claim that this service was momentous in ads and DVDs and on Celebrity Apprentice. Turns out they were being paid. Folks were ripped off by design. Trump's pyramid scheme trial? January 29. Now, our second U.S. president, John Adams was his name, in 1801 left D.C. in humiliated shame. But why did he sneak out of town in mortified dejection? It's pretty simple, actually. He'd lost his damn election. The peaceful power transfer on that day was begun, and for 220 years, it had a real good run, till the reality TV landlord of grotesque aristocracy tried to do away with our American democracy. March 4 begins the trial where Special Counsel Smith takes on the fraud and violence of Trump's election myth. A 45-page indictment of a fight Trump couldn't fix, and incitement of those incel thugs on January 6. Conspiracy, the charge is, to defraud the USA, and conspiracy against rights, they use that on the KKK. And there is no real defense. Trump did the worst sin that he could, the sin of making VP Pence look very, very good. It's history's most important case for Spraytan's most absorbent face. See, Biden won by 7 million votes. It was a slaughter. Trump was told this by his AG, DHS chief, and his daughter. His own administration said there was no widespread fraud, so he lied and said there's ballot mules and vote dubs from abroad. And he knew what he was claiming was true only in his head, that Georgia had 10,000 votes from voters who were dead. And he said the vote machines were rigged to give Joe Biden more, and were rigged by Hugo Chavez, who died 7 years before. Now, it's not illegal to ask questions, not illegal to tell lies. It's conspiracy to scheme some fraud with 18 other guys. You're allowed to say the vote is rigged and challenge it with your friends, but when you try to stop the counting, MAGA, that's where free speech ends. They called Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, and really thought they'd have some fun there, making up some false electors, even though Joe Biden won there. The courts heard 60 legal challenges and still rejected them. The GOP knew all about his lies and still protected him. You can say there's fraud, even if your lawyers can't discover it, but when you push your VP to break the law, First Amendment doesn't cover it. Trump told his mob to stop Mike Pence from certifying the vote. His fans tried to find Mike Pence and put a noose around his throat. And the most pathetic moment here is not stop the steel hypocrisy. It's knowing on a call with Pence that Dan Quayle saved democracy. Those thugs in MAGA hats tried to erase your voting right, just like Congress thugs in cheap suits did later that same night. 60 lawsuits thrown out thanks to Giuliani's skill. Vote machine lies cost Fox News $750 million. Judge Tanya Chutkan warned Trump to contain his online hate. But he couldn't stop himself, and so she moved up his trial date. He tried to end democracy with his electoral reversal, and if he's not held accountable, that was just a dress rehearsal. Election interference to keep the job to which he clung. But Joe Biden's in the White House now, and Mike Pence still isn't hung. March 4th. March 5th is Super Tuesday, when 14 states cast votes. His New York trial's March 25th, in case you're taking notes. For falsifying records, DA Alvin Bragg announced, Trump's facing 4 years jail apiece for 34 different counts. See, Trump slept with a porn star while hiding from his wife the most expensive 15 seconds of his misbegotten life. Stormy Daniels tried to tell the world hush money was provided, and that's how, for the first time, a former president got indicted. A bribe for his election. That's campaign finance fraud. And Trump's defense boils down to, look, I never touched that broad. He lied about the payoff. Michael Cohen wrote the checks, then admitted to the payoff, but still swears there was no sex. But he reimbursed his lawyer. Sorry, that's just what the fact is. Michael Cohen went to jail. Trump wrote it all off on his taxes. But the thing about Trumpers is they didn't mind when Michael Cohen did time for the exact same crime. And if you still believe his story to explain all these bad checks, then he pays women he never had sex with to say they never had sex. March 24th. Now, just after the primaries, but before the big convention, another trial's May 20th, and it might get some attention. Special counsel Jack Smith's back to ratchet up the tension. Trump's indicted here on 40 counts. He was not well-intentioned. First president charged with a federal crime, in case I didn't mention, a crime so deeply stupid it defies all comprehension. Illegal, lying, willful, classified document retention. Do I really have to do this one? This one's so dumb. Do I have to? Okay. Trump lost and left the White House because a loser never lingers, but turns out those tiny hands have also got some sticky fingers. Secret information on our weapons capabilities, military planning, and our nuclear facilities. He crammed these docs in boxes, yo. He stuffed it like a taco and snuck them down to Florida. Espionage Lago. Now, if he accidentally took the stuff, then there's no need to worry, because Joe Biden and Mike Pence took stuff, returned them, said, we're sorry. So the archives asked politely, hey, can we have back our stuff? Trump ignored, returned a few, but really thought he'd called their bluff. But Trump kept him in his bedroom and his shower like a chump, in the ballroom and that bathroom where Don Jr. does a bump. He'd lied to feds and tried to hide the boxes he had stolen. That's obstruction, even bigger than the kind that's in his colon. He bragged about it, showed him off, till one day, there's a knock. The FBI was at his door. That's how Donnie got Doc blocked. He's innocent, the fanboys cry like rabid-crazed hyenas, but he knew he had and lied about it and blew off his subpoenas. A scheme to conceal what wasn't his at his Florida estate, like he conceals his skin tone, taxes, and his actual weight. And when he lied to Evan Corcoran, he's the counsel, represents him, stable genius got his own lawyer to testify against him. And the best defense on classified docs that you could hope to find, they belong to him, and he declassified them with his mind. Ex-presidents can do that. Yeah, he thinks that's how it is. So I asked Barack Obama to reclassify with his. But Trump appointed Aileen Cadden because a swamp protects its sludge. In America, rich defendants get to hire their own judge. And remember, he's indicted by grand juries, okay? Joe Biden's not his jailer. And his house was never raided. You're thinking of Breonna Taylor. So there's the Trump indictments. Now you know them all by name. And I'm sure you've got your favorite, but Jesus loves them all the same. He's not the first POTUS to get caught for covering up his crimes, but he is the first to get charged for it 91 damn times. First to be indicted for subverting an election, first one liable for sex assault and inciting insurrection. First American president to face impeachment twice, and the first to have a chance of losing the popular vote thrice. First president to attack our vote and national stability. Fuck around and find out, Don. It's called accountability. And our MAGA friends, they still don't mind all this fascist deviance. They still bow down to him and say their pledges of obedience. And they'll still nominate him. Trump will never be rejected. MAGA's working day and night to get old Biden reelected. And the GOP establishment built this historic fail. They're no longer the party of Lincoln. They're not even the party of quail. Because karma can't be hoodwinked like some random MAGA rube. It's poured for all the angels, and the good Lord brought the lube. Live your life in such a way that, despite your contradictions, millions won't cheer your arrest in 4 separate jurisdictions. Trump would rather attack America than admit he was a loser. Now Lady Liberty gets her day in court. to stare down her abuser.